There's a certain kind of high school where survival of the fittest is the only rule. And I, Kwon Daegun, was airdropped into this jungle as the apex predator. My mission? Simple. To dethrone every self-proclaimed king one by one. And the warm-up? It starts with you clowns. You said it was a pity last time, just a little taste. Bro, today, I'm letting you have the whole damn meal. Kwon Daegun crossed his arms, watching coolly, because he knew the real show was just about to start. In the corner, some four-eyed guy was rubbing his hands like a commentator. The top spot for the first years. Is it finally going to be decided today? After clearing out the trash lying on the ground, a weirdo in an eye patch showed up. He grinned, baring his sharp teeth, with a smile that sent chills down your spine. Kwon Daegun, you're a jerk I can't help but like. Then, plot twist, he started talking about his hobby of tearing dolls apart, as if it's some grand achievement. I just can't help it. I freaking love tearing them apart. This guy's monologue got crazier and crazier, ending with a roar. I can't endure it. Before the words even faded, he shot forward like a cannonball. But Kwon Daegun's gaze remained ice cold, like he was watching a clown throw a tantrum. The very instant the attack was about to land, he moved. A precise gut punch, so fast it was just a blur. That punch felt like it went straight through his organs. The opponent instantly curled up like a cooked shrimp, his face a mask of pain and disbelief. This bastard. He hissed through gritted teeth, but the curse sounded more like the whimper of a loser. Unexpectedly, the guy actually got back up, swinging his fists wildly like a rabid beast, screaming, "Don't avoid it! Fight me!" Kwon Daegun just nonchalantly sidestepped, dodging every attack. In his eyes, this kind of chaotic rage was full of openings. The spectators on the sidelines were completely lost. What's going on? Park Doo-jin is just raging recklessly, but why is Daegun only dodging? Just then, our four-eyed commentator came online again, dropping some wisdom. Maybe he's analyzing them. That's right. For Kwon Daegun, every 1v1 is a precision dissection. His combat style has always been the same. Start by dodging, letting his opponent put on their little show. But once he's analyzed their attack patterns to a certain extent, that's when the real hunt begins. That's right, analysis complete. Daegun's eyes sharpened in an instant, sweat trickling down his focused face. Now, it was his turn to make a move. A swift counterattack, a powerful side kick landing squarely on the head. The opponent's brain seemed to shut down instantly, the world spinning around him, leaving only a deafening ringing in his ears and the taste of blood he coughed up. But this guy's endurance was a mystery. Even after taking a beating like that, his eyes weren't filled with fear, but with an even crazier killing intent. He roared, "This bastard," and launched another suicidal charge. Too bad that in the face of absolute power, this was nothing more than a final struggle. Just as the opponent thought he had an opening for a counter, Kwon Daegun's move was faster. "Wake up, your counterattack is useless against me." The words had barely left his mouth when a more vicious roundhouse kick was already on its way. The expression on his opponent's face froze, shifting from ferocity to sheer astonishment. What followed was, to put it bluntly, a one-sided beatdown show. Every punch landed with brutal accuracy, striking the most vulnerable spots. The opponent was like a worn-out punching bag, passively taking the storm of attacks, completely unable to fight back. The commentators on the sidelines were completely dumbfounded. Bro, did he just send a weightlifter like Park Doo-jin flying with one kick? Is this guy even human? Another one analyzed it like a pro. With those big, simple movements, he wouldn't even be able to scratch Kwon Daegun. Park Doo-jin was clutching his chest, grimacing in pain, while the audience was already calling him a monster. Just then, Kwon Daegun stretched his arm and casually dropped a line. "I haven't had a chance to warm up in the meantime, so I hope you can endure it for a long time." Talk about a public execution. Are you saying you're not warmed up yet? That sentence completely ignited Park Doo-jin's last shred of pride. With a roar, he launched another fierce attack, faster and more ferocious than before. "Same with me," he yelled, as if to say, "My warm-up is just getting started too." However, this seemingly furious attack was like child's play in Kwon Daegun's eyes. Did he adjust the distance wrong? Oh, he faked it. He saw through all his opponent's little tricks. Does he want to attract me by saying it's not simple? What a cute guy. This guy just doesn't get what's really important in a fight. If he doesn't know that, then no matter how strong his attack is, the result will be the same. Kwon Daegun's voice was like a death sentence. He stopped dodging and moved in, a precise knife-hand strike hitting the side of his opponent's neck. Park Doo-jin's consciousness instantly faded to black. Park Doo-jin went down like a sack of bricks. Some gloated, others were stunned. But the real experts were already starting to analyze the playback. "I think I know what it means." Daegun said he already examined Park Do-jin through that coin game. That's right. This fight was never on the same level from the very beginning. I've seen Park Do-jin play a little bit, and I understand it now after seeing how he fights. Turns out, Kwon Daegun had seen through his opponent's fatal flaw from a seemingly unrelated game. Park Do-jin's limitation is his overwhelming physical strength. In the coin game, Park Do-jin relies on brute force, able to send all 4 coins flying with a single slap. That power is indeed impressive, but to Kwon Daegun, it's also his biggest weakness. Floating in the air means the coin has half a chance of being flipped. So are you saying being strong is an advantage? Faced with his friend's question, Kwon Daegun shook his head. The coin game isn't a battle of strength, nor is it about luck. He stated calmly, it's skill. After analyzing the situation of the coin's location and number, precise control is the key. But a guy like Park Do-jin, whether he's playing a game or fighting, only knows one thing: rely on the senses of the moment, use all his strength, and just go berserk. He doesn't analyze his opponent or grasp the situation, just swings his punch using his physical strength. That might work for bullying newbies, but against a real hunter, he's just going to get played. Because his opponent right now is a monster who knows exactly what the coin situation is and hits the best place with clear aim and force control. This opponent sees everything, and that opponent is Kwon Daegun. In the face of absolute power, all struggle is futile. 1 second, you're the untouchable king of the campus. The next, you're getting slapped into another dimension. These are Kwon Daegun's rules: obey and prosper, resist, and lie down. Every punch carries the force to crush everything in its path. In front of him, his opponent is like a moth drawn to a flame, with no other outcome but to be incinerated. And he, Kwon Daegun, is that calmly burning hellfire. In the control room, the Foundation's people watched as if it were a boring show. Didn't you say Park Do-jin is strong? Did he even hit him once? It's ridiculous to bet on such a one-sided fight. But the man in charge just smiled. It's true that Park Do-jin is strong, but his opponent is just ridiculously stronger. Still, this is a chance to get to know the new student strengths. But the data is still not enough. On the floor, Park Do-jin was on the verge of breaking down. Fuck, why can't my attack touch him? But Kwon Daegun just looked down on him with contempt, as if teasing a pet. Try harder, it's getting boring. You said you wanted to rip apart what you liked, but it seems like you hate me. Meanwhile, at an arcade outside the school, another storyline was unfolding. A girl was throwing a fit because her friends were going to watch Kwon Daegun's performance. Damn, I shouldn't have added money, she complained, pushing her companion aside, clearly taking a strong interest in this transfer student named Kwon Daegun. This girl, Susie, was cursing under her breath, but her heart was racing. Walking in the rain under her umbrella, her mind was filled with thoughts of that lunatic, Kwon Daegun. That idiot. Why is he going to that place? The more she thought, the more worried she became. What if he acts recklessly again? Should I go too? On the other side, our protagonist, Kwon Daegun, seemed to have fallen into some kind of frenzy. He clutched his head, his face contorted, as if resisting a command or memory invading his mind. No, why is this happening? I'm literally breaking. The spectators, meanwhile, were buzzing about another guy's bizarre behavior on the sidelines. I can't believe he's slapping his own face. What kind of asceticism is that? Turns out, the guy who lost to Daegun in the coin game couldn't accept the reality of not even being able to touch him. So he started self-harming to test his hand's taste. NGL, that's a new one. Kwon Daegun watched this farce coolly and finally spoke. Are you done with your show? And that self-slapping gambler, Park Do-jin, cursed himself through gritted teeth while also trying to console himself. Nice, money doesn't matter. His mind was a mess of conflict and humiliation. Fuck, I don't know what's wrong, but it's weird that I'm the only one getting hit. After taking countless hits, Park Do-jin finally saw an opening to counterattack, roaring, "It's my turn now." However, what he didn't know was that Kwon Daegun had only used one move the entire time. Just one. And that one move was all it took to play him like a fiddle. And so, the so-called counterattack turned into an even more spectacular beatdown show. Punches, side kicks, every attack was precise and deadly. Park Do-jin's body was like a kite with its string cut, tracing a helpless arc through the air. Park Do-jin was mentally shattered. He thought it would be fine if he got hit a couple of times. He could endure it. But what he didn't expect was that his opponent's assault wasn't just a couple of times, but a combination he was utterly powerless against. One hit, Kwon Daegun decided to end this boring game. He focused all his strength into a single punch, a blow designed to utterly shatter his opponent's will. I can endure it. Park Do-jin was still trying to hypnotize himself, but his body's reaction was honest. Now, That punch landed squarely on his face. Park Doo-jin felt like his soul was knocked right out of his body. His last bit of resistance vanished in an instant before this absolute power. Blood trickled from the corner of his mouth. Park Doo-jin knelt on the floor, his consciousness fading. The outcome of this duel was decided from the very beginning. The process was just more humiliating than imagined. It's shameful that he's the only one who can hit in this match. Park Doo-jin's heart was filled with resentment. He slammed his hand on the desk to vent, only to realize, what the? His power, it seemed, was out of control. What's wrong with this? Fuck, he roared, only to find his hand caught by another, more powerful hand. That hand seemed to possess some kind of mysterious power, and it was stopping him. A memory flashed back. It was Kwon Daegun's voice. That's not how you hit it. Followed immediately by the image of being knocked out by a single punch. After the fight, Kwon Daegun looked down at his fallen opponent and said nonchalantly, "Thanks to you, I warmed up well." Meanwhile, in the control room, the observers wore grim expressions. In the blink of an eye, the fight was over, leaving only a mess and a crowd of shocked faces. Everyone was processing what just happened in their own way. On the floor, a jarring pool of blood silently narrated the brutality of the battle. Some people are born in Rome, and others are born to burn Rome to the ground. Kwon Daegun is the latter. In the gym, while others are sweating buckets, he's casually scrolling through his phone. The instructor can't take it anymore. "Hey dude, why are you looking at your phone at the gym? They're exercising so hard. Don't you feel anything?" Kwon Daegun let out a small laugh, not even looking up. "I'm going to win against them anyways." The words were light, yet filled with absolute confidence, or perhaps arrogance. For a naturally talented player, hard work? What's that? Can you eat it? The instructor, pissed off by his attitude, pressed on, asking what he was looking at. Kwon Daegun nonchalantly replied, "Toto's sight." The instructor got even more heated. "You're also exercising using your gut feeling, and that's why you're not improving." Unexpectedly, Daegun shot back. "What do you know? You're so noisy." The instructor was shook. "What? What did you just say? Coach, did you say that you were a rookie king?" Kwon Daegun finally looked up, a playful provocation in his eyes. "Do you want to fight with me, seriously?" The instructor was so stunned by the sudden challenge that he was speechless, breaking out in a cold sweat. He realized he might have just provoked someone he really shouldn't have. Kwon Daegun always believed he could win just by feeling that techniques were for the weak. But when he tried to exert his power, he found it didn't work as expected. It didn't work? He froze. Then, a nameless rage surged through him. He frantically smashed the ground, roaring, "It'll stop if I break it." A new day, a new battlefield. Kwon Daegun stood in the ring once again. "Next?" he asked coldly. Though covered in wounds, the fighting spirit in his eyes burned hotter than ever, as if to say, "I'm just starting, though." The onlookers were stunned. He can wake up after getting hit like that. The opponent finally realized the key to the problem. "Now, I know why my attacks can't reach you. It's because you read my pattern, right?" He wiped the blood from his face, revealing a strange smile. "That's why you're trying to avoid everything like a bug. Try to get through my gap. But what if your body doesn't follow your head? Even if a bug is doing all its best, it's going to explode in human hands and die." That's the difference in physicality. The sideline commentator was back online. Our brains limit our physical abilities so that our bodies don't break down. But some characters, by ruining the body in character creation, can gain speed and power that goes beyond human limits. In the same context, if Park Dojin's emotional tendency reaches its peak for the only emotion that wants to win, he'll get an explosive amount of exercise. And just as predicted, the words barely spoken, Park Dojin unleashed a devastating attack like a beast uncaged. He bet everything on the gut feeling of the moment and launched an attack beyond human limits. But in Daegun's eyes, it was all for nothing. "What are you saying?" Park Dojin's face was filled with shock. Daegun simply replied nonchalantly, "I told you that I already warmed up. I'm not interested in you anymore." After the fight ended, Kwon Daegun didn't stop. He turned to the so-called second-year executives and issued a new challenge. "I heard that you guys are collecting money for protection or something." The air froze instantly. Everyone knew a new storm was about to brew. "You're not even gangsters. Why are you collecting money for protection? You're still students, right?" Daegun's voice wasn't loud, but it was filled with unquestionable authority. "There'll be no money collection from now on. The person who contradicts me will become the second Park Dojin." He paused, then added, "Which means I'll blow your head." Just then, a bald, burly guy stood up, trying to reason. "You know one side of the story and don't know the other one. Money is just a form." Daegun couldn't be bothered with his nonsense. "Crazy monk, come down here. I'll break your head." His lackey couldn't stand it. Who do you think you are, bastard? At least say that after you devour all the first graders. Kids these days have no manners. A senior with glasses stepped forward, taking on a preachy tone. It's not as simple as it sounds, kid. It's hard to explain with words, so just learn with your body. With his command, a mob rushed forward. The result, they were washed away in an instant like a waterfall. Just then, a red-haired kid rushed out, yelling Daegun. He seemed to want to say something, but Kwon Daegun gave him no chance. One heavy punch sent him and the person behind him flying. You don't have to do that. Kwon Daegun's voice was as cold as ice. Circle him. With a command, more people rushed in. But for Kwon Daegun, this was just swapping out one set of punching bags for another. It's so annoying, he muttered, effortlessly neutralizing every attack and countering with even greater speed. I don't need to warm up more, though. Fists and feet flew. Screams echoed one after another. The onlookers were stunned. What the? He's fighting that bunch of people alone right now. Yes, you're not seeing things. In this high school, Kwon Daegun is basically a living cheat code. Just then, someone decided to play dirty, grabbing a weapon, a folding chair. Daegun, behind you! His friend yelled, but it was too late. The chair crashed down squarely on Kwon Daegun's head, sending his glasses flying. However, before the attacker could even celebrate, he saw Kwon Daegun slowly get up, his gaze colder than before. What are you doing right now? Are you crazy? Daegun didn't answer, simply responding with an even more ferocious attack. In that moment, his opponent felt like he was staring at death itself. Everyone who witnessed it was floored. What was that just now? He beat all the second-grade executives at once. They finally realized that everything Daegun had shown so far might have just been a joke. He took on a strange pose, a fighting stance they had never seen before. The defeated opponent struggled to his feet again. He felt his body was insanely light, lighter than ever before. I don't know what you're talking about, but if I'm in this state, I can tear you apart. The beast within him had fully awakened. It's been a while. Daegun's expression changed too. He was no longer the lazy genius, but a true warrior. Facing his opponent's roar, he threw a fatal punch. With one shot, the opponent traced a parabola through the air and crashed heavily onto the ground, completely unconscious. All that remained was a dead silence and a million question marks. With this shot, it's over, Kwon Daegun announced calmly. That bastard Park Do-jin, he's finally done for. In a back alley, a group of mysterious men in suits were silently cleaning up the aftermath. They destroyed all the photos of Kwon Daegun, erasing every trace. Clearly, Daegun's mission was far more complex than just being the bully in charge at school. Behind him was a large and mysterious organization. Yes, thank you for your hard work. A man in a suit received the report. He adjusted his collar, his expression calm. To them, a battle that could overturn the entire school's hierarchy was just another job completed according to plan. A new day, the same old battlefield. Just when everyone thought the storm had passed, the real crisis was just beginning to surface. Those who witnessed the fight still shuddered at the memory. Just now, I feel like I just saw something different. What was that attack? It sounded like gunshots. Yes, Park Do-jin was completely finished. Kwon Daegun ended the fight with a single heavy punch. While everyone was still reeling from the shock, Daegun had already set his sights on the next target. I told you, it's really over. Kwon Daegun looked at the fallen Park Do-jin, his tone flat. Well, since he received a lot of damage before, so one serious punch would have been his limit. He then turned to Park Do-jin's friend and commanded in an unquestionable tone, "Get rid of your friend." Fear spread like a plague among the second years. The former second-in-command, a bald, tough guy, started hallucinating under Kwon Daegun's intimidating presence. He trembled, muttering a name over and over. Azura. It's Azura. His mind completely broke. His companion tried to snap him out of it, but he just pointed upwards in terror, a vicious demon reflected in his eyes. I can see Azura. In his eyes, Kwon Daegun was no longer human, but a demon from hell itself. What are we going to do with the new student? Faced with his comrade's question, the strategist with glasses, Gong Myung, felt helpless for the first time. Either you come forward or all the executives come forward. It's no use. He analyzed calmly, because he could see that inhuman aura around Daegun. Seriously, what the hell are you saying? Then what are we going to do? Faced with the question, Gong Myung could only admit defeat. His spirit that's lacking in asceticism practices makes no one here able to beat him. That figure shrouded in darkness had become an inescapable nightmare for everyone. Park Do-jin's era was over. Kwon Daegun asked coldly, "Who's next?" Just as he was about to continue clearing the field, a girl rushed into his world. In the pouring rain, Susie hailed a taxi. Her destination was the very center of this storm. Just step on the accelerator instead of talking nonsense, Susie urged the driver. She stared out the window, her heart filled with worry. That idiot Kwon Daegun, he's making me worry. She had no idea that the person she was worried about was, at that very moment, single-handedly suppressing the entire second year. All right, who's next? Kwon Daegun looked around. Everyone lowered their heads, daring not to meet his gaze. No one? Then shall I choose? His words were filled with absolute confidence and control. Just as he was about to pick someone, a call came in. It was the director. Daegun, what the hell are you doing? A roar came from the other end of the line. Daegun frowned. That surprised me. Why are you screaming? Apparently, his actions had gone far beyond the scope of the plan. From now on, you'll do what I tell you to do. The director's voice was absolute. Meanwhile, his friends on the sidelines were completely confused. What's with this situation? Why is he on the phone while he's fighting the second years? They didn't know yet that behind this fight, an invisible hand was pulling all the strings. In the control room, the director was cursing up a storm. Damn, why the hell did he go to Ilsu's office? He just had to act as bait. But he's doing something useless instead. She hung up, turned to leave, and said, "You guys are in luck today. I'm busy, so I have to go now." Having received his orders, Daegun had to hold back for now. He looked at the trembling group before him and said coldly, "I had to break all the heads of the second years today, but I'll let it slide for today." He paused, adding in a charitable tone, "What do you call this?" "Mercy." Meanwhile, another top fighter from the second year, Sunghwa, had taken a keen interest in Daegun's power. It is true that he is ridiculously strong, but any strength is meaningless in front of delicate techniques. The battle between two skillful guys is unpredictable. He was clearly very confident in himself. All right, Daegun seemed to remember something. Next week is the schedule to collect money, right? His gaze turned instantly icy. The guy who collects money next week. I'll find and kill him. A new bloodbath has been scheduled. Just then, Susie finally arrived. She saw Daegun and emotionally called his name, tears welling in her eyes. "Are you okay?" "How can you be okay?" Daegun, however, remained indifferent. "What's wrong? Do you want me to not be fine?" Susie was speechless, but when she saw the bodies lying on the ground, she was still shocked. What? Did you do all this?" Daegun didn't answer, just said impatiently, "If you're not here to see me, can I go now?" "Wear this." Daegun took off his shirt and handed it to Susie, who was soaked from the rain. Susie was shocked and embarrassed, thinking to herself, "No way. Kwon Daegun's clothes. Disgusting. Do you want me to wear what you used to wear?" But before she could say it, she heard Daegun say, "I like it." Plot twist. It turned out to be a misunderstanding. Daegun meant, "It looks good on you." He awkwardly draped the jacket over her shoulders, and Susie's face turned as red as an apple. This sudden gentleness filled the air with pink bubbles. "So, our honeymoon. Aren't you going?" However, this sweet moment was witnessed by a rival not far away. What's with that new student? And what's his relationship with Beck's Susie? Damn it, it's a pain in the ass. The seeds of jealousy had been quietly sown. As you can see, it's not just a second grades match. Someone started plotting a new scheme. How about using his relationship with Beck's Susie? And using Beck's Suhyuk after it. Meanwhile, Susie was cheerfully chasing after Daegun. "Hey, Kwon Daegun, wait for me." Night fell. Daegun's companion gloated, "Congrats. You won in the end." Daegun shot back, "You don't like it?" The guy immediately denied it. No. It's worth money seeing Park Dojin get hit like that. And he's probably in hell now, since he lost all his money, But not everyone felt that way. The blonde kid who'd been playing dead during the fight was secretly relieved. "Daegun, I knew you would win. I made the right choice." His only regret was that he couldn't bet on him. To avoid suspicion, he had to keep lying there, pretending to be passed out. In another corner of the city, the real underworld was at play. A man known as the CEO was dealing with some disobedient individuals. When his subordinate complained that the target was almost dead and couldn't talk, he just said coldly, "That's why you shouldn't dig after someone else like that." "Sir, I'll be right back," one of the men reported to the CEO. The CEO asked why. He replied, "It's not because of work, but personal business." This so-called personal business seemed to be intricately linked to Kwon Daegun. The story is far from over. Kwon Daegun's school life is destined to be anything but peaceful. Who is he really? What is his true mission? And what secrets lie behind it all? Let's wait and see. The night was dark as Kwon Daegun returned to that familiar warehouse. He'd been here many times, but a mysterious number was still sending him his own pictures. "I already checked it, but I couldn't find any data about me." He felt a sense of unease. Things seemed to be slipping out of his control. However, When he arrived, he found 4 bodies already lying on the ground. Just as he was about to hang up the phone, he was surrounded by a group of men in black. Who are you? Why is that bastard here? Hostility instantly engulfed him. Faced with their questions, Kwon Daegun chose silence. This completely enraged the other party. Look at this jerk. I asked who you are. Why don't you lower your eyes down? His fist was already flying towards Daegun. The result was predictable. The provoker was on the ground in an instant. A contemptuous smile appeared on Daegun's face. For real, I'm here just for a second. His words were cut off by an angry roar. This fucking bastard. He's very dangerous, so you'd better not touch him. Someone tried to stop their comrade. Dangerous? You mean that high school student? Are you serious? They had no idea what kind of being they were facing. Long time no see. Daegun's voice sent a chill down their spines, like being plunged into an ice cave. Park Hee-jun, I didn't expect to meet you here. Daegun recognized the man. So, you're the one who sent that message, he stated, his tone certain, but his eyes filled with questions. He knew things were getting more and more complicated. They were digging up information behind our organization, and I happened to get information about you. Park Hee-jun explained, but don't worry, I'm the only one who knows. He paused, then asked, anyway, what the hell are you doing? What's with that high school uniform? Daegun replied calmly, what else? I'm just going to school, dude. Okay, I won't ask you any more questions. Park Hee-jun put out his cigarette. I don't know what you were doing, but at least I know you have something to do with this woman called Director Lee. You'd better not trust her too much. This warning plunged Daegun into deep thought. You've already forgotten how to look into the ordinary things. And I just want to live a normal life. Park Hee-jun's words struck a chord with Daegun. That's what I've been trying to do. I'm going to graduate from school, safely, study, and go to college, like everyone else does. He longed for an ordinary life, but fate had pushed him down a different path. Are you okay with studying? In response to Park Hee-jun's concern, Daegun's thoughts drifted to the classroom. He remembered his disastrous English word quiz and the laughter of his classmates. Don't ever show up in front of me again, he warned Park Hee-jun, then turned and said to himself, wait, I'm going to beat you all in the English word quiz. Although his mind was filled with suspicion about Director Lee, when his friends came to congratulate him and invite him to relax, Daegun was pulled back to reality. I need to memorize English words. His comment made his friends howl with laughter. They didn't know yet that this guy, who seemed to be slacking off, was planning to conquer the school in a completely different way. Take this, Daegun. It's a present. The red-haired kid handed him a pen. Just as Daegun was about to say thanks, the kid said with a straight face, it's a weapon. I recommend using it perpendicularly on the top of your opponent's head. Daegun. The way these guys think is definitely not normal. He's such a big source of anxiety in my normal life. Daegun looked at the guy, named Manho, feeling a sense of helplessness. He remembered that Manho also swings a bat when he fights, and a flicker of anticipation grew in his heart. Yes, he longed for an ordinary life, but he also enjoyed the fight. At the batting cages, Manho's skills were laughably bad. But egged on by his friends, he decided to use that. I just want to try swinging my new bat once, he said with a smile. But his eyes turned incredibly sharp. Now I'll use that. Bring it on. How did you suddenly get so good at it? Faced with the question, Manho proudly showed off his secret. It's all thanks to the skill that I came up with. You want to know it? I'll let you know. It's simple. Just one thing. Manho's gaze turned eerie. Open your eyes with a squint. The focus becomes blurred, and you can see 2 things. That's no exception to baseball. When you see 2 baseballs, that's your chance to swing, he explained. It sounded bizarre, but Daegun knew this guy wasn't joking. Target locked, crazy jerk. If you have a fight in the future, you'd better call me. Manho patted Daegun's shoulder. For the sake of humanity. Before he could finish his sentence, he was sent flying by a heavy punch. Daegun watched him, feeling nothing but a slight urge to laugh. Turns out, the one who took down Manho was another tough guy, Bang Ho-jung. He called himself a man who can endure Daegun's fist. Seeing his do-or-die expression, Daegun was reminded of his past self. I can help you, he said to Ho-jung. But Ho-jung waved his hands in terror. Not in a no-no. Daegun picked up the bat, ready to step up himself. His cool demeanor and the bulging veins on his arms as he held the bat immediately caught the attention of the girls outside. Damn, that's crazy. He's so fucking handsome, right? Look at his arms when he holds the bat. I want to get punished by that. However, this group of fangirls quickly got into trouble. Punks from another school took an interest in them and started making rude comments. What's with that bitch? She's so fucking annoying. Manho heard every word of their conversation. Protect me. That was the only thought in Manho's mind. His actions were purely instinctual. Do you have something to say? He asked, holding his bat, standing in front of the girls. A new conflict was about to erupt. Didn't you say your dream was to have children with Minji? You might not have children. His friend's roar left Hanjun utterly confused. Before he could figure out what was happening, he saw Kwon Daegun approaching, asking coldly, "What's going on?" Daegun's arrival instantly silenced the scene. Just by standing there, he exuded a chilling aura. The punks who were so arrogant moments ago were now choked up, speechless. The onlookers recognized them as the guys from the fight with Bongi and Tech High. The story shifts to another back alley at night. A man is running for his life. It's no use running away like that. Kid, that's a dead end there. The pursuer's voice was full of mockery. Cornered, the man turned back and roared in anger. "Fuck? What are you guys doing? I told you I'd pay you back," the man pleaded, making a last stand. But from among the pursuers, a leader-like figure stepped forward. "I'll take care of him," he said calmly, as if handling a trivial matter. "Who are you?" the man gasped. "You don't have to know. If you're going to rebel after all, let's end this quickly." The leader's words were like a sledgehammer, completely crushing the man's psychological defenses. He collapsed to his knees in despair, tears streaming down his face. You. Finally, he heard the cold sentence. "You don't have money, so you have to pay back with your body." Those words, like a curse, echoed in the empty classroom. That bastard Park Dojin. In the end, he didn't come to school. Kwon Daegun stood in the hallway, his expression complex. He knew the waters in this school ran much deeper than he had imagined. Ever since that kid Park Dojin vanished, the school has enjoyed a long overdue peace. I was even starting to enjoy it, thinking my school life was finally getting on track. And then, bam, spoke too soon. Some barbarian straight out of the last century pops up, points at my face, and tells me to take my hands out of my pockets. Bro, the times have changed. What's even wilder is he's throwing my name around to act all high and mighty, yelling about Kwon Daegun, the savior. I am speechless. NGL, you gotta admire the mental gymnastics of these guys. But as the newly appointed head of the disciplinary committee, I gotta be magnanimous. After all, there are always some idiots who haven't updated to the latest patch and need a little tutoring. Honestly, this feeling of being able to fall asleep without dreading school tomorrow, it's strange and damn pleasant. I thought I was in for a good night's sleep until that name exploded in my mind. Hey, Kim Do-hyun. The next second, I shot awake, drenched in cold sweat. Phew, it was just a dream. That was a close one. The sun is shining, the campus is quiet, and the students in class 1 to 9 are all diligently studying. Everything seems so peaceful and perfect, as if that nightmare was the illusion. Yeah, this should be my new normal. But the phrase peaceful and perfect clearly doesn't apply to every corner. Even class 9, the den of nerds, there's always one or two clowns who get a kick out of bothering people trying to study during break. Finally, a girl had enough and stood up. "What are you doing? Why are you being so childish? If you're the top student, then just study and mind your own business," the guy scoffed. He was about to lose it, fist clenched, and the atmosphere turned icy. Right then, our class vice president, the dude with the glasses, casually walked over. "Ah, there you are. Perfect timing. Can you help me with something for a second?" Plot twist. The help he needed was dragging the guy out for a beatdown. "Don't ridiculously pretend to be a bully when you should be studying," the vice pres said, pushing up his glasses, his voice cold as ice. "Got it. Stupid bastards like you are ruining the school's image," he said nonchalantly while adjusting his tie. "We should smile when we go to school, right? So let's be careful from now on." The beaten guy wouldn't dare say no, just trembling and agreeing. Damn, making an example out of him, smooth move. My new order is quietly taking root. And fear is the best catalyst. Look, the remaining bullies are already scared out of their wits, holding an emergency meeting. He beat up the second graders too, and said he'd kill anyone who collects money? Is this guy crazy? He's turned the whole school into his enemy, a leader type analyzed. But reality bites. They urgently need money. We need to figure it out before he comes and finds us. Well, things are about to get interesting. Under pressure, infighting is inevitable. So what? You're too scared to collect money? Why don't you go and lick the new student's slippers then? A guy in glasses mocked. But then he changed his tune, reassuring the others. Don't worry. I've already made arrangements. The new student will be handled before the collection. The new student touched something he shouldn't have. These guys clearly don't get it yet. They think that by breaking the absolute rule of collecting money, I'm digging my own grave. Meanwhile, my fan club is quietly growing. They've practically memorized my name by now. Thanks to me, a lot of kids are actually finding it fun to come to school. Even some romantic bubbles are starting to form. A girl returned my jacket, blushing, saying she accidentally got makeup on it, so she washed it. Her bestie instantly exposed her. Got makeup on it? Or did you spend all night sniffing it? And that, my friends, is a certified social death scene. Why would I smell it? The girl went full tomato face, but her friend was relentless, teasing her about jujitsu and my appa. School gossip, always so simple, yet so devastating. School life seems to be getting back to normal, but for me, this is just the calm before the storm. Before I can live a normal high school life, there's something I have to do. That's right, what you guys, the people from the foundation, want. So, let the show officially begin. Elsewhere, Class 8's visual, Cha Yin-woo, is happily calculating this week's earnings. Once I get the money, I'm getting nose fillers. He fantasized while taking selfies. With a face like this, becoming a top-tier idol isn't too much to ask, right? Bro, I think you might have a slight misunderstanding of top tier. This narcissistic idol in training is currently spouting nonsense at some girls filming a TikTok. What's the point of ugly people filming videos? His buddy, Kwon Daegun, looks thoroughly annoyed, clearly uninterested in these petty squabbles. Soon enough, the Class 8 leader corners Kwon Daegun. How's the money collection going? He asks. Daegun hesitates, obviously spooked by the rumors about the new student. Why? Are you looking forward to not collecting money? The leader sneers, his killing intent palpable. To assert his authority, the leader grabs a lackey just for praising Daegun. Do you think I'm going to lose? Or, do you want me to lose? He asks while pouring a whole can of Coke over the unlucky guy's head. Oh, it's sweet, he says with a grin. I don't like zero sugar Coke because it tastes fake. Just like your compliments. He declared from on high. The girls nearby weren't scared. They found it amusing, even wanting to film a TikTok. This twisted school is really something else. Finally, he gave the ultimatum, collect all the money by tomorrow. However, the text demanding the deposit arrived quickly, leaving the Class 8 leader frustrated. Elsewhere, Kwon Daegun's mind was crystal clear. He hadn't seen Kwon Daegun yet, but he knew that among their crew, no one was his match. What if Kwon Daegun really comes to find us? A bully named Jizyuk worried. But right then, his girlfriend sent him a link to a luxury jacket, hinting he could buy it with the collected money. Fear and greed waged a fierce battle in his heart. In the end, greed won. They decided to collect the money as planned, betting that Lee Sung-hoon would handle everything. However, when the vice president of Class 9 found Lee Sung-hoon and kindly offered to help collect the money, he received an unexpected response. "Thank you for your kindness," Lee Sung-hoon said with a smile, adjusting his glasses, his tone gentle but firm. "But about the protection money, our class will not be collecting it." Boom! The first domino has fallen. Lee Sung-hoon's open defiance was undoubtedly a great gift to me. The people from the foundation were pleased with my progress, promising me a new life and issuing the next directive. Kwon Daegun from Class 8 and his friend, Cha Yin-woo. Meanwhile, several bully leaders are having a secret meeting. One is on the phone reporting to his superior, saying the new transfer student is a headache, but he can handle it. His ally, that guy with glasses, is being sarcastic nearby. "What are you talking to? Aren't we in an alliance?" Ha! So-called alliances, nothing but fake friendships. They're still so confident, thinking their plan is foolproof, completely unaware that the hunter is already on the move. I head towards Class 8, ready to fulfill my promise to crack Kwon Daegun's head. Let the games begin. In Class 8, one of my targets, Cha Yin-woo, is busy trading compliments with his friend. "You're handsome." "No, you're the handsome one." The conversation is so cringe, I could build a Barbie dream house with my toes. While basking in the flattery, Cha Yin-woo is impatiently waiting for me to show up. He seems to think my delay is a sign of self-control. "Dude, you're overthinking it. I was just, on my way." The moment I stepped into Class 8, all eyes were on me. Kwon Daegun wasn't there, which was a bit of a surprise. But what surprised me more was this fool, Cha Yin-woo, actually stepping up to provoke me. "You can't go now. You should at least beat up this bastard Cha Yin-woo before you go." All right then, a freebie. Don't mind if I do. A girl wanted me to be in her TikTok, and I politely declined. To Cha Yin-woo, this was mind-boggling. He refused a girl's request. He and his friend reacted as if I'd committed a mortal sin. They even gave me a nickname, Iron Wall. Right on cue, my ally, the vice president from Class 9, shows up. He starts roasting Cha Yin-woo immediately. "You're ugly." This sudden verbal assault left Yin-woo completely stunned. The onlookers were like, "Okay, but has this guy lost his mind?" Yin-woo was stunned at first, then burst into laughter as if he'd heard the funniest joke in the world. But the vice president's words cut like a knife, and he finally snapped, screaming in rage as he threw a punch. "It's so absurd, you bastard." Too bad his resistance was futile. The vice pres took him down easily. Lying on the floor, he was actually fantasizing that I would save him. And me? I just watched. Why would he think I'd help him? Truly a mystery. More people gathered, camera phones flashing. Seeing this, the vice president decided to personally stop the violence. He stepped in to break it up, the whole thing smooth as silk. A seasoned actor, for sure. It was a good show. Standing next to the new student, you seriously look like a squid. The girl's comments added fuel to the fire. Yi and Wu completely lost it, demanding of the vice pres, "Who do you think you are to interfere?" The VP just coolly mocked him. "Are you not good at controlling your anger? I'm giving you a chance while I'm still being nice." The vice pres easily restrained the furious Yi and Wu. Being humiliated like this in front of everyone, especially the girls, completely shattered Yi and Wu's ego. He realized that in the face of absolute power, he could do nothing. Completely enraged, Yi and Wu made the worst possible choice. He spat at a girl. The result was predictable. She slapped him right back. "You're so dirty," she cursed. And then, a heavy blow from out of nowhere knocked Yi and Wu senseless. I barely tapped him, and he fainted. The crowd didn't see it clearly, and I couldn't be bothered to explain. Just then, today's main event, Kwon Daegun, finally arrived. He looked at the mess and demanded of me, "Did you do this?" I nodded. "Let's say so." With my foot on Cha Yi and Wu, I met Kwon Daegun's gaze. Before he could speak, the girls nearby jumped in to explain, saying they had it all on video and telling him not to bother the new student. "Looks like my grassroots support is pretty solid." Daegun suggested we talk outside, and I sensed something was off. He must have thought Lee Sung-hoon had already handled me. Seeing me standing here in the flesh has clearly spooked him. This Lee Sung-hoon, what the hell is his game? My thoughts drifted back to a little while ago when I ran into Lee Sung-hoon in the library. This guy, sly as a fox, had approached my ally, Kim Do-hyun, with a full smile that was somehow chilling to the bone. "I heard this is where people cheering for Daegun gather. I want to join," he said, getting straight to the point, but really he was testing Do-hyun. "But you're the boss of Class 9. Why would a guy like you come here?" Do-hyun was so nervous, he started sweating. Back to the present. Daegun coldly gave me a chance. "Give back the collected money, and I'll forgive you." He doesn't seem to realize who's giving chances to whom here. Man, the way this guy talks really pisses me off. "Sorry, but the money I collected, I already used it all." I lied without batting an eye. Daegun exploded. "You used it all. I needed that money to get my nose filler." I shrugged. "That's a shame. Anyway, I don't have the money right now." "Okay, I'll just go today," I said, turning to leave, but not without a final jab. It's hard to be a celebrity if you hurt your face. That warning was clearly more effective than any threat. The girls watching sighed in relief, thinking a fight was averted. How naive. Of course I wasn't going to let it go. Verbal provocations are just the appetizer. Real communication requires fists. Before he could even react, I had already landed a heavy punch on his face. A swift kick, and the fight was over, clean and simple. Why does everyone think I'm going to lose? I mused, looking at the stunned audience. They all have good instincts, so I'm sure they knew how this would end. As expected, someone pulled out their phone again. "It's a shame that two handsome guys are fighting, but it's great TikTok content," they said, trying to find the best angle. By then, Daegun had already been sent flying by my kick. His attack is quick and flexible. Lying on the ground, Daegun somehow had the presence of mind to analyze my moves. He seemed more concerned about getting caught in an unflattering shot. "I need to get this guy out of the angle," he thought. Try to avoid the camera? Not a chance. I grabbed his head and slammed it straight into the glass. Now, no matter the angle, I guarantee it's a high-definition and censored masterpiece of social death. But just to make sure he learned his lesson, one more punch was in order. As I was about to deliver it, I caught a glimpse of another scene of violence playing out in a corner. This school, always full of surprises. I pulled back my fist and looked down at Daegun on the floor, giving my final ultimatum. "Bring the collected money back by tomorrow." This isn't an offer this time, it's an order. If you persist, your face will be smashed. Behind me, there was only dead silence and shocked stares. Famous after one battle. Now, my title in school has been upgraded to God Kwon. Everywhere I go, I'm met with looks of awe. The next target is Class 5. But before getting down to business, it seems there's some personal beef to settle. That guy Jiziak, showing off his new jacket to his girlfriend. Looks like he treated my warning as background noise and chose greed after all. Heard Kwon Daegun from Class 8 got hit by the new student. News travels fast. Jiziak's girlfriend tells him that the new student, me, is heading his way. In an instant, Jiziak's face turns pale with rage as he growls a name. Lee Sung-hoon. That fucking bastard. Meanwhile, Lee Sung-hoon is trying to win over my ally, Kim Do-hyun. "I'll lead this group," he declares, not hiding his ambition. Do-hyun refuses, saying he only takes orders from Daegun. Sung-hoon's smile becomes much more meaningful. "Not good at understanding things, are you, Do-hyun?" Sung-hoon pats his shoulder, his voice gentle but full of pressure. Do-hyun is forced to yield, but he stresses that he just wants Daegun to get rid of the bullies. Sung-hoon smiles. We hate seeing bullies, right? Our goals are the same, especially when it comes to them. Those kids who don't even realize they are the bullies. Sung-hoon's words pierced through the feigned peace. Jizyek's girlfriend made an excuse and left early, leaving just me, Jizyek, and that bespectacled figure behind him. School is not over yet, I said, blocking Jizyek's escape route. Where are you going? Lee Sung-hoon, now standing behind him, asked coldly. Pincer attack. A turtle in a jar. Facing pressure from both me and Lee Sung-hoon, Jizyek broke out in a cold sweat. Let's talk outside, he suggested. It seems he's finally realized that this time, he's really screwed up. We went to a secluded spot. Jizyek was having an internal war. He hated me, wanted to destroy me, even considered using a weapon. It's cowardly, but what if I can win? His eyes flickered between madness and fear. But in the end, he gave up. Damn it, I don't think I can win in any way. In the face of an absolute power gap, all schemes and tricks seem pale and feeble. He stopped in his tracks, finally facing reality. I'll do as you say. Jizyek surrendered completely. So what should I do? I looked at the distant sky and said lightly, now, all that's left is Class 7 and Class 9, isn't it? The house cleaning continues. But finding all the bullies who collect money one by one is just too troublesome. My friend Kim Do-hyun is helping, but the efficiency is still too low. I wish things were simpler. Like, I ask, did you collect money? They say, yes. Then I throw a punch and say, die then. But in reality, they'll lie and even laugh at me. If only someone could just line them all up for me. Speak of the devil. Just as school ended, Jizyek stormed into Class 9, heading straight for Lee Sung-hoon. Lee Sung-hoon, you dog bastard. And as luck would have it, I was right there. What shocked me even more was that Kwon Daegun was with Jizyek. They had Lee Sung-hoon cornered. Sung-hoon looked bewildered. What the hell? Is that bastard seriously crazy? Kwon Daegun. His inner monologue was way more dramatic than his expression. Well, Jizyek is here too. I broke the stalemate, hands in my pockets. You two haven't been on good terms. Did the losers decide to stick together? My words were, without a doubt, salt in their wounds. Provoked, Kwon Daegun attacked first, throwing a punch. I dodged it and countered with a heavy blow to his face. You want to fight me? You guys are still too green. Next, I took down Jizyek with a flying kick. 1 versus 2, easy peasy. Lee Sung-hoon, you. Jizyek lay on the ground, his eyes filled with shock and confusion. I didn't expect Lee Sung-hoon, the scholar, to be so ruthless in a fight. He grabbed Jizyek and taunted. What are you doing? Weren't you going to fight me? Hurry up. Jizyek, provoked, cursed him out. You dog bastard. It was a complete and utter steamroll. My teamwork with Lee Sung-hoon was seamless. He handled the verbal taunts and support control, while I was the main damage dealer. Soon, those two were completely powerless. The sounds of the fight attracted a passing girl. She stopped, peering curiously into the classroom, just in time to witness the scene of violence. This reminded her of something else. In Class 7's special training, a baseball pitcher was using a classmate as a punching bag. The onlookers didn't stop it. They coached from the sidelines. Turn your waist. Hit him. Don't be scared. Is this bastard crazy or something? His adrenaline is surging. He can't control himself. The recorder analyzed calmly. The student being beaten could only cry and apologize. And the instigator of it all, Class 7's boss Koo Sung-hwa, was just doing it for so-called combat data. Back to Class 9. Jizyek and Daegun were completely subdued. Lee Sung-hoon stood before them and calmly announced, do you know your level now? From now on, I'm going to make Kwon Daegun the boss. His words were a final reckoning for the old guard. After cleaning up the mess at school, I was walking home. The streets at dusk were quiet and peaceful. But my instincts told me I had a tail. Again? Who was it this time? I felt a surge of annoyance. I pretended to casually turn into an alley, then suddenly accelerated and vaulted over a low wall, trying to shake the follower. Unexpectedly, it was a dead end. I turned around, bracing for a fight. However, when I saw the follower's face, I froze. It was a girl with glasses, trembling with fear. Daegun, she stammered my name. You were following me? I asked. She frantically explained that she saw another suspicious person following me. So, she followed from behind. But then the suspicious person disappeared, leaving only her. Plot twist. So it was a classic case of the mantis stalking the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. Except the oriole lost track. Turns out she was the girl I saved last time. Misunderstanding cleared. The atmosphere instantly switched from a spy thriller to a teen drama. She gave me her number and asked me to walk her home, blushing. Fine, I'll count it as an after-dinner stroll. It was already dark by the time I took her home. Alone with my thoughts, I wondered, I don't know if the world is this chaotic or if it's just chaotic around me. From thugs to private investigators, and now a mysterious new follower. Life is getting more and more exciting. Under the hot shower, my thoughts became clearer. Park Hee-jin's sudden appearance, his warning not to trust the director of the foundation. What is his relationship with the director? This game runs far deeper than I ever imagined. But overthinking is useless. The only thing I have to do is complete the mission. The next day, however, my ally Kim Do-hyun came to me. I don't like that jerk Lee Sung-hoon. He has snake eyes. Looks like I should badmouth him to you, so you'll stay away. Great. A fire in my own backyard. Do-hyun was just about to start his report when Lee Sung-hoon and I showed up together. Some guy running for student council president saw the three of us together and turned pale. Daegun. He probably thought we were about to make some major headlines. He was probably screaming internally, Daegun, not that guy. Too bad it's too late. My alliance with Lee Sung-hoon is already a done deal. As I walked with the girl on the street at dusk, she finally mustered the courage to thank me properly. Last time, thank you for saving me. No need to be thankful. Instead, I'm sorry I got you involved, I said. She shook her head, saying her friend Jean also regrets the harsh words she said back then and hopes I don't take it to heart. Everyone has a particularly painful vital point, and that incident must have been a huge shock to her, she explained on her friend's behalf, hoping I could wait for Jean to apologize in person. It seems there's more to that incident than I know. To change the heavy subject, she started asking about my class, Class 9. She said the class is so peaceful thanks to Jean and the class president, Lee Sung-hoon. Jean was undefeated among the girls, while Sung-hoon was great at talking to the guys. Lee Sung-hoon is a great leader, she said with admiration. I replied, I see, but I was laughing coldly inside. A leader? I only remember seeing him on the second graders' turf. This guy is not as simple as she thinks. Back to the day I first met Lee Sung-hoon. He approached me and introduced himself politely. At that time, I was on high alert because I knew he was involved in the money collection. The leader of Class 9? In short, he's a bully, right? Kwon Daegun, who was there, scoffed. I agreed. But Lee Sung-hoon just smiled, calmly accepting the label. I'm a bully because I'm the leader? Well, yes. I see. So we can think that way too. This guy's mental fortitude is something else. Then, he put on a brilliant performance to clear his name. He claimed he became the leader to protect his classmates and was forced to collect money. He thanked me for breaking the rule, allowing him to finally shed the stigma of being a bully. His speech was so sincere, even I almost believed him. He asked for a chance to help me, hoping to break the prejudice against him as a bully. I could feel his sincerity, and I knew I needed a local like him to help me. So, I officially delegated the authority to him on the spot. Lee Sung-hoon's executive ability was beyond imagination. He quickly organized the former leaders of each class, had them shake hands and make peace, and announced a briefing for the Bully Violence Committee. A new order was rapidly taking shape under his leadership. Bully Violence Committee? What's that? Sounds like a union. Someone questioned at the meeting. Does it make money? These guys probably have nothing but money on their minds. Our purpose is simple. Lee Sung-hoon smiled, letting others announce it for him. We're going to catch all the bullies and beat them. Simple and direct. I like it. But someone immediately raised the core issue. Well, yeah, but why are you in charge of it, Class 9 leader? I answered that question for him. And Sung-hoon seized the opportunity to show his hand. He's the class president, a member of the student cabinet, knows all the ins and outs of the money collection, and has connections in every grade. No matter how powerful the gun is, it's useless if aimed at the wrong target, he said confidently, pushing up his glasses. If Daegun is the gun, then I will be the scope that sets the target with precision for him. The metaphor is a bit cheesy, NGL, but it's pretty accurate. Oh, that was a little cheesy, bro, someone muttered. Sung-hoon didn't mind and kept explaining. But I had lost my patience. You're talking too much. I have to memorize English words. So what's the plan? I cut him off. The core of the plan: lure the snake out of its hole. The ultimate target is the third grade leader, Baek Soo-hyuk, but he's currently missing in action. So we decided to start with the second graders, cut off their money supply, and force Baek Soo-hyuk to show himself. But before that, there's still some garbage in the first grade that needs to be cleaned up. Lee Sung-hoon named Koo Sung-hwa from Class 7. I didn't have much of an impression of him, just that he was an athlete who always worked out after class and didn't seem to cause trouble. Evil without malice is pure evil, Sung-hoon said. He told me that Koo Sung-hwa's obsession with skills has demonized him. He uses the special nature of the sports department to satisfy his twisted desires. His desire is information. He forces athletes from different sports to fight each other, just so he can analyze the data and refine his own martial arts. He'll even make people bleed just to get that little bit of so-called intel. Sung-hoon deduced that a skill-obsessed pervert like Koo Sung-hwa, after witnessing my abilities in the auditorium, would definitely not let it go. He will come looking for me. And right now, he's probably doing his pre-battle prep in his own unique way. His preparation involves pushing his classmates to their limits and even beyond. You have to go beyond your limits to get something transcended. This madman is completely lost in his own world. It seems a tough fight is inevitable. Elsewhere, a few of my underlings are still feeling awkward about Lee Sung-hoon joining the team. I just don't like that four eyes goo dash, the blonde kid complained. He turned around, and another friend with glasses, Min Soo, was standing right there. Oof, another social death scene. Oh, whatever. If Daegun says so, then that's that, the blonde kid yelled in resignation. To vent their frustration, they decided to go play some games. The PC Bang is located under a church building, which is a unique combination. And at that very moment, in that unique PC Bang, Lee Sung-hoon is meeting with Won Jae-hak. Did you meet Baek Soo-hyuk? He asked. Nope, he wasn't there, Jae-hak replied. It seems this final boss is even more mysterious than we thought. Don't worry, everything is flowing as I planned, Lee Sung-hoon said with confidence. I'll give you a signal soon, so make sure you're completely ready. We need to be prepared for the upcoming storm. Under the city lights, a dark tide is rising. Cut to my place. My sister opens the rice cooker, finds I've mixed protein powder into the rice, and calls me up furious. But when she sees the money I left on the table, her tone softens instantly. Oh, I don't like it. You should have told me earlier. After hanging up, my sister held the stack of cash, lost in thought. What's wrong with him these days? Where the hell is he getting all this money from? Looks like my secret part-time job won't be a secret for much longer.